Welcome back, everybody, to episode 5 of PK's Place. I'm joined today by a good friend of mine, former Regina Pats defenseman and current defenseman for HK Sochi in the KHL. It's Nikita Sedov. Nikita, привет, как дела?
Привет, Peyton. It's a pleasure to be here. Just wanted to say that you're doing a big thing. The podcast takes lots of time, lots of effort, and it's a pleasure to be here and chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And you were one of the people when I actually made a list of guests I wanted to be on the pod. You were one of the people that I wanted to get on here. So
Right on.
for those people that are unfamiliar with you, one thing that you've done very well that has struck my eye, albeit I can't really read much of it because it's in Russian,
Yeah.
is Nikita's posting on his Instagram stories about what he eats and all of his daily habits. And I think you've been doing a very good job of that. When did you decide to start doing that?
I actually started doing right after the New Year's. It's something that I always wanted to do, and but like always thought, maybe later, not this time, but like after the New Year's, I thought, why not give it a try? And so just started just posting different stuff, my the basic daily routines, like what I eat, what I do, just the other side of the hockey player, what it takes, because just the fans see one perspective, they see one side, just how players play on the ice, and then they don't see like what's going on in their lives, different challenges, different setbacks, practices, just the road trips, and then just how hard it is, not just physically but mentally. And I think by showing and just spending some time showing others what it takes to be a hockey player on that, on the high level, it's something interesting, at least for me. When I was a younger player, it was always like I thought in my mind, hey, what's going on, like what do they do like in a locker room, like how do they prepare, like what do they eat, and how they spend their time off the ice. So it's something that I, as I said, always wanted to do, and then give it a try. And when I have time, I always post a little stuff. But like in the past couple of weeks, I've been just busy traveling and just been around the workouts and everything. But like during the season, I was more into that, and because like there's a lot more going on. So yeah, that's pretty much how the story has started for me. And yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I think you're doing a very good job of that. And interesting note, before we hopped on here, I went on your Instagram and I translated the profile. And for those of you can do this when Nikita plugs his social later on, is his bio translates to English backstage of a hockey player. So he really means it when he's bringing you almost backstage into his routine and what he does. And speaking of what you've done with nutrition and all that stuff, who taught you how to cook, and when did you start officially kind of cooking on your own?
The nutrition part, I began studying that part like a couple of years ago. It was always interesting for me to learn, and it's something still I'm enjoying. I'm always listening to different podcasts, always reading different books, different insights, something that I'm really enjoying and to learn. And the journey, I think, started a couple of years ago when I was in North America, and just so different, especially like when I played in the WHL. I see some guys go pro and play on a higher level. You just talk to them, hey, like what do you eat and that kind of stuff, and how they take care of their bodies. So I think that's where the journey has started. And where I learned to cook, well, I was away from home when I was 14 years old, and then I think that's when you leave the home at that young age, you become just responsible for first of all yourself, and you got to take care of yourself. And that's where I learned those different magic tricks with the let's say the cooking. And I'm still like I'm actually like enjoying the whole process of like cooking different, making food not just taste good, but like make it actually healthy for you. Because like, as you know, like we are what we eat. And and I'm sure I like 100% agree with that. And through the social media stuff, I'm just trying to spread the awareness about like the healthy eating, how just the food itself has an impact on our daily life, different actions, different thoughts. And yeah, as I said, something that I enjoy doing, and I continue learning and just trying to spread the message and of the importance of eating healthy and yeah, living longer, I guess, and happier.
That is well said, and I do think that you can never learn enough recipes, and you can never learn too many things to cook. So
Yeah,
since
for sure.
since you've started, what's your favorite dish to cook?
Favorite dish? Can be anything. Probably salads. I'm a huge fan of salads. I'll make a. Actually, I'm my huge my best most favorite bowl would be like a Mexican bowl where I would have like different greens and veggies on the bottom, throw some quinoa or different grains, and then it can be anything like fish or some beans or some chicken breast, and top it off with some lemon juice, salt and pepper, and or make some just some kind of sauce on the side, and just mix it all up and good to go.
That sounds very tasty. I'll have to try that out sometime. Now, you did mention salads. What is your
Yeah.
go-to salad?
Uh, just I eat anything like pretty much, and no tomatoes though. Like all the greens. I throw in some spinach, some rucola, couple of cucumbers, peppers. I'll throw in, and that's a trick. You got to throw in a green apple, just a little.
Hmm.
Gives you that sweet taste, and mix it all up. Olive oil, and just some lemon juice on top. Squeeze the lemon juice, and then some salt and pepper, and good to go. Actually, I forgot it. You got to put in avocado. It's always you always got to go with the avocados. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's my go-to. Salad.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with avocados. They taste very
No,
good.
never. No,
Now, another
never.
thing, speaking of salads, was I
Yeah,
noticed that you've been pretty big on how you eat a plant-based diet. When did you
yeah.
make that transition, and what went into that?
Uh, it's probably when the whole quarantine has started. I watched a couple documentaries on Netflix and just the internet itself, and then read a couple books, and agreed with all the diseases that are happening in the world. People are dying from different like just heart diseases, cancers, and all of that stuff. And switching to plant-based, eating the actual natural foods, has inspired me to try it on, like to just give it a try and give it a try. I liked how I felt. You know, and that's pretty much I do now. I do like 70% plant-based and 30% products that were made by what's the word, am I like meat products pretty much. I have some I might have some chicken, I might have some steak once in a while, but like pretty much the whole diet consists of plant-based products and everything that the nature has created. And yeah, the journey began a year ago when the whole quarantine has started, and gave it a try. Went like 100% vegan for some time, but like after a while, as a professional athlete, where you just burn like so many calories a day, you need those calories back, and it would be so hard for a professional athlete to be able, first of all, get those calories and get those different micro and micronutrients into your system. So something I found for myself, and I mean, I like how I feel. I like how my body feels. The most important, and the journey has been around 2 years almost now, close to, yeah.
Yeah, it's very well done. And
Mhm.
obviously I feel like people during the lockdown did have to shift a few habits, mainly so that
Mhm.
they weren't just sitting on the couch and just accumulating fat. Now, you also mentioned you read some books and documentaries about it. What were the
Yeah.
books you read? And second question is, was
Yeah.
one of those books The Plant Paradox?
Okay. Give me a second. I have to. because the couple of them I read, they were in Russian. I'm just trying to translate them. Let's see. Give me a sec.
No worries.
I think one of them was called like How Not to Die. It like basically tells you like about the veganism and like how being vegan, switching to vegan, and basically tells how like for example every grain contains the same amount of like protein as the chicken breast, or things like this, and why you would rather have a like a quinoa grain instead of a just a chicken breast. And that was one of the books, How Not to Die, I'm sure. And the other one, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I'll say Tom Brady was 2B12. Like that was probably my first book actually, where I look at the food perspective as like the major point of like being successful. And that's how because he has like as you know, very strict diet where like he basically he doesn't eat any anti-inflammatory foods, which is like it can be anything like peppers. He doesn't eat peppers, or either like tomatoes, and it's like very strict and very like plant-based. And like it was my first book where he not only talks about like just the sports training and all that stuff. I like how he talks about the mental part as well as well as the nutrition part, which play a huge role why he's been successful for that many years and still been able to keep up with that. So those are the two books they came up to my mind right now. Yeah, 2B12 for sure, and How Not to Die.
I think the How Not to Die, I think that especially grabs your attention because you read that title and you're like, oh shoot, I need to read this. I need to learn how not to die. And obviously who better to learn from than Tom Brady. Now going to TB12, have you tried any of his products? Because I know he has like protein, he has electrolytes and all that stuff.
Actually, I haven't tried any like nutrition products, but like I bought a roller, like a vibration roller, and a long time ago. That's another part he talks about, pliability to keep all your muscles not like tight, just better recovery. That's what he talks about: better recovery with food, better recovery with this a method called pliability. So I got that roller and been using that for almost 2 years now. But I haven't tried any of the nutrition products yet.
I understand. So the main thing I guess that's deterred me from trying the nutritional products is I've talked to certain trainers, some at 2SP Sports in Detroit, and then my trainer that where I played this year, and they kind of say like kind of stay away from that, I guess, mainly since Alex Guerrero, who's Brady's guy who runs it, basically people only really buy into it because he's friends with Brady. Like I think my trainer this past year said like what he's doing might as well be Scientology, like completely made up or things like that. But I think it's clearly working for Tom. I mean, he goes to a new team and wins another Super Bowl. So I think that book definitely would be interesting. And I brought up the plant paradox. I did see on your Instagram story, you were at a bookstore and you picked it up and you were talking about it. I actually read that book and it opened my eyes, and I actually made a lot of changes in my life. For example, I only drink almond milk or coconut milk. I don't drink cow milk anymore. And I cut out a lot of lectins. Like I don't eat tomatoes. I cut a lot of those things out since Dr. Gundry was right. There's a lot of inflammation there and you don't need it.
Yeah, that's the one I was I couldn't remember the name. So yeah, there you go. That's another one. And I switched to, I don't drink cow's milk. It's been like almost a year and a half, maybe even more. And I've been drinking like the soy milk, as you said, or just the almond milk and that kind of different plant-based options, and some other things too that I'm still implying in my daily choices, as like can be basic as like instead of if I'll go to the shop and grocery shop and then I'll see two different bananas. The one is like yellow and the other one is green. I'm just gonna take a green one because it contains less sugar and it's gonna have less inflammation in your body. So just little things that, but like the whole life is made of little things, and those little things play a huge role in the end.
Absolutely. I will also recommend, not that this is kind of a free
Yeah.
ad for him, but he has plant-based protein, and I've tried the chocolate flavor and it's very good. I highly recommend. It's actually really good.
I'll give it a try. And it's, I assume it's plant-based too.
Yes, it's called the Pro Plant. So yeah, it's 100% plant-based.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, just a little almond. I do a little almond milk, a banana, like a green banana that is, some ice, a scoop of the protein, a little creatine. There you go. That's usually a quick breakfast for me because I don't usually, if I'm going for like a skate or there's a workout, I don't want to feel too bloated. Now,
no, for sure.
Of course. So you mentioned the documentaries. What were some of those documentaries you watched?
What's the Game Changers was the one, and then the Forks Over Knives, or no, wait, yeah, something like that. These are or spoons over forks or something like that. Yeah, it's either one. And just another couple ones. They talk just about like especially the American diet, how bad it is for just a regular person, how people eat so many products that the people made. You want to stay away from those products. You want to stay as little. You want to let me put up this.
Okay.
Yeah, you want the people to touch your food as less as possible. So
yes.
So if you look at if you buy something at the store and you look at on the back of the product, you want you want to be as short as possible what it contains in it. So and it basically says like how so many American, like the culture itself, we eat so many we eat so many foods and products that contain, the list just goes on, and we just skip those natural foods that have been growing in the trees and or in the soils, and just talks about the importance of actually going back to eating just more plant-based foods that are actually were made by the nature, and pretty much they all talk about the same thing in the end: just eat the organic and the natural foods. It's natural foods to first of all not just feel healthy, but like live a better life itself.
Absolutely. And so I think the word also that you were looking for was you want to eat something that's as least processed as possible.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I think, and here's an interesting thing. I saw an Instagram post and it compared products made, like a craft product made in the UK, like a salad dressing or whatever, compared to what it is in the US. It is astonishing how much less is in the UK version than in the US. It's honestly nuts. And I think more people need to be aware that these salad dressings and these sauces and things like that, there's so many chemicals and so much bad shit in it that it's almost better to go with something that's less processed. For example, with salad, I know you're a big salad guy. Olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette. It's way better than getting like a balsamic vinaigrette dressing because I've even looked at it and I'm like, why is there so much sugar? Why is there so much fat and sodium? And plus, when you go with that natural route, it's a lot. You feel a lot lighter, and at least I think both of us can attest to this. You feel less bloated when you make these simple changes. And yeah, I think that's also the plant paradox. Going back to it, the key is that you want to eat things that are whole food based, that are fresh, not processed. Because when you go to a fast food restaurant, you eat something, it's been processed and it gets in your stomach and it makes you feel like crap, and you have to, and then your bowel movements aren't great. Whereas if you got something fresh and cooked it, I feel like it's just a lot more satisfying too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it just if you look at the long run as well, like you just, as you said, like you started to feel better, but like over a period of time, as you started to feel better, your body starts to feel better. It, like the whole system connects to our brain as well. Your brain starts to feel better. Your mood starts to, like, you start to be happier, and uh, but just all those little things connect to each other, and you start living better. You start to living a more fulfilled, life. Uh, just filled with different, things that you weren't probably even seeing when you were eating those different food, processed foods. So just um, by switching those different, making those different little choices is going to help you in the long run, living a better and happier life, I think.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Now, switching
Yeah.
gears, you moved from Russia to North America for hockey, like you said, when you were 14 or somewhere in that
hmm
range. When you moved
hmm
over to North America, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make, especially since the lifestyles are so different?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The lifestyles are for sure so different. The people, the culture. Um, the biggest adjustment, well, first of all, it was probably the English part, because like I didn't speak any English, and so that was the first adjustment that I had to make, is to learn the language. And I've been thrown into this uh, not very comfort zone, and that's where you learn the most, you grow the most. And uh, English was the first part, and then after a while, I think it was even switching to food as well, because like the food lifestyles they're pretty different too. Like I'm comparing to Russian diet. It doesn't contain a lot of fiber in like just in a daily meals. And so it was definitely because like when I got there, they were eating a lot more actual like organic greens, different salads. And it was definitely a better, that's where the journey started, I think, for me, as me, just cooking all those different meals, always looking for different superfoods and all that kind of stuff. Just by seeing and switching the countries and seeing what people are putting in their body, and it's, the stuff that they were putting, it was actually good for your system, so it was good for your stomach and just the overall the body itself. And yeah, food was a second one that I had to readjust. And yeah, those are the main two. And well, it's just still, the third one, the people were so like different. The people were like always happy, smiling. But I know it sounds weird, but like once like you kind of come here, I'm not saying that people are sad or angry here, but like it just, to me, it's what I saw, like people were just like more happier, like always smiling. You just go on a walk in the park, and people are just, you see a random person, he just says, hey, what's going on, how are you doing? And you just don't see that stuff here. And that was definitely an adjustment that I had to make. And because I was like a more serious guy when I was 14, and throughout some time. And I think I became more like a North American a person, I should say.
Yeah, I think all those things that you said are very valid points, especially I think the language obviously has to be the hardest part.
hmm
I couldn't
hmm
imagine if I were to go over to Russia, for example, I'd be
Yeah.
floundering. I only know a few words. I don't speak the language, so I can only imagine
hmm
how hard it was for you initially.
hmm Yeah, for sure. It was well. It only takes a couple months, 3 to 4 months, where you just don't know what's going on. And after a while, it started actually to, hey, I kind of start getting those stuff. But like the problem is, like you don't have enough words in your brain to say things, so you just kind of like, you get the idea what everyone is saying, but like you just can't say anything. So but like after a while, just you builds up, and it's all about like how bad want to learn the language, how bad you want to, how fast you want it, but like throwing yourself into, just, going out with the guys after the practice, or just, just going to see your body, and just try to spend as much time as you can. And by doing that, you're going to learn the language much quicker. And you just, in the long run, it's going to help you, to learn the language way quicker. And so that's something that I had to throw myself in with, and, always try to say something, even though like I'm not feeling it. But it's definitely going to help in the long run.
Absolutely. And I think, and someone said this, and it stuck with me. Life begins when you get outside. Life truly begins outside your comfort zone. And that's the key, is to always get outside your comfort zone. And like you said, that's how you grew. And obviously you were talking about the English language. I will say this, that as someone who does speak English, the English language is very confusing, because there are certain words and certain letters that should make a certain sound, or should sound like this, that don't, like the letter G with some ways. It's just so confusing. What words at first got you confused? Like, it should be this, but it actually isn't.
First of all, I gotta say, bro, if you're thinking that English is confusing, you gotta learn a little of Russian. Russian is so confusing. Like, literally, like English is so easy to learn now, looking back. Like, it's literally so easy to learn. But like Russian, it's so complicated. Like in English, you can say just one word, and in Russian, you can say the same word like 20 different words, or even more. So to me, the English part, the English language is more easier now looking back. But like, to answer to your question, what was the words? Well, like, let me think. Well, I kind of went to the learning English school first, and then, like, literally started from the bottom, where we didn't learn the alphabet, but like we started from the basics, like hi, like how's it going, and things like that, and different colors. And I don't know, I think the hardest part was you go to the school, and then you get all this, you learn all those different colors and different, like, just the regular words, and you go back, let's say you go to the shopping mall, and then you started talking to different people, and not the accent, but like the way they speak, it was just so hard to catch up with it, because they kind of speak way too fast. And that was the hardest part, I think, to be able to try to catch up all the words in a sentence. But like, I'm not sure if there was a particular word that was hard for me to pronounce.
No, I understand that. And I think what was also helped for you is that the area you went to, which I believe was Colorado, there really isn't too much of an accent, where I just wonder if you would have went to, like, for example, Boston, or if you would have went to New York, where they have a certain accent, or a certain dialect, or even the South too. I think it would have made it a lot more difficult to learn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I only know for the Boston, they say like Boston. That's pretty much. I've been there only once, but like the accent part, I think, would have made it more difficult for sure.
Yeah, someone who's actually spent a decent amount of time there, the main thing is that it's anything that usually ends in an R, they switch it for an AH. So for example, I went to the Pack.
Okay.
I go to Harvard. Yeah, like, it's just kind of interesting how they do that. But
yeah, definitely would have been more difficult.
100%. Because you would have been spelling it like, instead of PARK, it would have been PAAK.
Yeah.
So also, before you actually made the switch to play Major Junior, you played in a spring tournament with me, coached by legend Igor Larionov. Now, I've asked other guests that I've had that know me, what was your first impression of the host of this podcast?
Actually, the funny guy. Always, he's not afraid to just go and it's because the team consisted of different players from different countries and cultures. And like, I think you were that nice guy, friendly guy who's gonna even though, like, for example, you didn't speak any English, like
Mhm.
you were gonna go out there and you were gonna somehow try to understand everything what he was gonna to say. And I think just that helpful, the guy, first of all, who cares about the people, which is like the most important, and not a, you could have been the guy who just, sits in the corner and just, just goes out there and plays and, says, all right, let's go guys. But like, you were more than that, and more of a team guy. That's what I saw in the beginning for sure.
I appreciate those kind words. And yeah, I remember meeting you first. I remember just you came in.
Yeah,
You did you
yeah,
spoke. I thought you spoke good English, and just
yeah,
seeing you
yeah,
on the ice, I was like, this kid can play. This kid's a good player,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was obviously a fun time there.
for
Now,
sure.
also after that year, you made the switch to the WHL where you played for the Regina Pats.
Yeah.
How did you ended up in Regina? What did that process look like?
So since I played in Colorado for 3 years, and the hockey there is growing every year, like, and players from from different states come to play there, because like the hockey, as I said, level is going up every year. And they always have different scouts from just the Western, and like I think, yeah, the Western pretty much league, come and watch games. And I was one of the scouts from the Regina, saw me playing. And then after the 16th year, got invited. I got a call from the Regina, and they asked me if I wanted to sign. And I pretty much signed with Regina, and then went to play there for 2 seasons. Yeah, that's how
How
the whole process. Yeah.
No, that's good. How was your time in
Mm-hmm.
Regina, and
Mm-hmm.
what was your first impression of Regina, Saskatchewan when you got there?
Well, the first of all, I gotta say, like, the time there, like, I enjoyed those 2 years like so much. The hockey level, just the like the culture of hockey in Canada itself, just how much people love and appreciate the game, how they care about the game. Always, even though a little town which consists of like 45,000 people, and you see the rink is always full with fans watching the games. It just says something. It says a lot about the culture itself, and why Canada has been able to give those great results every single year. And the time there, it's pretty much like a small, as the older guys were saying, it's like a small NHL pretty much, because you have almost the same amount of games, always traveling, always playing. And it was fun. It was definitely fun. I learned a lot, and I grew a lot, not only as a player, but like as a person, because like through that many games, you go up and down, and you learn from those different setbacks. And that's definitely has helped me, as I said, not only to grow as a player, but like as a person as well. But like overall, the great time. And Regina, the weather point was pretty much, as I said, where I'm right now. In the winter, it gets pretty cold. Like a couple of times, there was like negative 53 Celsius, which is with the wind, which is like, I'm not sure what's in the Fahrenheit, but like it gets pretty cold. But like same thing in the summers, it gets pretty hot too. And not a very big town, but like it's got everything what you need, and there's not much time to do things since you play that many games during the season.
Yeah, that makes sense. So another thing I
Hmm.
noticed during your time there,
Hmm.
you actually got the good fortune of playing in an outdoor game. What was that
Yeah.
experience like?
Oh man, that was literally uh, that was the most the best experience I've ever had in my whole life. To be able, it's like a dream come true. You always play in the winters when you were a kid, outdoors, and then with it's either with your buddies or your father, and then be able to play in an outdoor rink when it's snowing. I think it was like around 12,000 people watching. skate on a real ice, and it was incredible to be able play, not only just try that ice, but actually play an actual game. It was a dream come true, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong. One of the photos you
Yeah.
put up on your Instagram was that you actually scored a goal in that game. Take us
Yeah,
through that
yeah.
goal, because I think it looked pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, that was actually my first WHL goal,
Oh,
to be
no way.
honest.
No, that's hey,
Yeah.
what a stage to get it on outdoors. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah. That was sick. Like, well, what happened was it was basically we kind of broke the puck out the zone, and then it was like a 2-on-1, 1-on-2 actually with Jabinski, or the buddy I played on Regina, and I think it was like a third period, and we were losing by 1. And I decided, why not just go and just support it. And so he kind of drove it to the net, and I was able to get the rebound, just poked it a little with the backhand, and just somehow it went in. And then the Sally and the smiles went on. It was awesome, man. As I said, like, to get the first one on the outdoor rink, it was pretty sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great memory. And did you guys end up winning that game?
No, less than overtime, but like overall, it was a great game. It was kind of going back and forth, and we were able to tie the game up in the end. And like overall, it was a great game and great experience for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like a lot of fun. Now, the one thing that's interesting about the WHL, at least I've
Yeah.
done research wise, is
Mhm.
the travel in the WHL is very hard, especially with all these teams spread out. What was
Yeah.
the longest road trip that you went on? Because there were actual
Mhm.
teams in the western part of the United States that made for long bus hours.
Yeah. So the longest one was to the American division. Well, like you always start by, like, for us, we played in Saskatchewan division. We'll go to Alberta first. Let's say we played in Alberta, like for a couple games. Let's say three games we'll play in Alberta, and every time you go farther and farther, and from the Regina and closer to the US. And that's how we started the road trip. Kind of went on 3 to 4 games, maybe something like that, and then got to US, and then played all the US teams. And then the longest drive back was like 26 hours. We left right after we played the game, so we're on the bus the whole day. Yeah, that was the longest. The longest ones are when you go home. So pretty much, it doesn't feel bad when you travel to play teams, but like when you travel back, it's always the longest.
That the 26 hours, that's insane. And I'm guessing that was from Portland, right?
I think so. Something like, yeah. We played it, or either Spokane. Can't remember. But like pretty much either one of the first one or the second one.
Yeah,
That's where we travel
I
from.
said Portland since Portland's the only team in Oregon, which is the state below Washington, and I figured because that's one of the
Yeah.
farthest teams. And another team in that division actually that you played against was Seattle. So when you played there, could you was it surprising to then see them get an NHL team, or could you see it being a possible hockey market?
Well, I wasn't surprised, like, because we got there, I'm pretty sure, like 2 days before the game, so we got some time to spend off in the city. And like the city itself, like, looks like it's huge. It's like it's a huge city, and it's got the football team as well. And I'm pretty sure the basketball team too. I'm not sure.
Baseball. They have a
Oh,
baseball
the
team.
base, yeah.
They used to have a
Yeah.
basketball team. They were the Supersonics. They played, I think they played in the 96 final against the Bulls, I believe, against Michael Jordan. And they were a team originally in 2012. Kevin Durant played there. They have since left. But with the NHL team coming back to Seattle, I think they should bring the Supersonics back. It's only natural. But yeah, they have the Seahawks football, Mariners baseball.
Yeah, there you go. They got everything. The city, I'm sure the city loves pretty much every single sport. And even though those junior games, the WHL that we played when we played Seattle, the rink was like pretty much full. So the people people love hockey there for sure. People love sports, and you see those different huge shopping malls, and just how the city is built. And I'm definitely not surprised how that they're gonna have an NHL team. When is the team starting? Next season too?
Yeah, so this season's going to conclude, I think, in July.
Mm-hmm.
I think next
Yeah.
month, I believe, is the expansion draft in June, where
Okay.
they're gonna select the team, and then I think October 2021 is when the next season starts, and that's when the Seattle Kraken are gonna take the ice.
Gotcha.
Now,
Gotcha.
speaking of the Seattle Thunderbirds that you played against, I believe you came into Regina I think 1 or 2 years after Matt Barzal had left to go to the NHL.
Yeah.
What would your strategy have been if you were playing against a Seattle team and seeing him just buzz up the ice?
Well, definitely try to. Well, first of all, the guy is so fast, but like probably not try to take as much time and space as I can, and just try to always be skate with him, and always be on top of him, because like once you give this that kind of player time and space, he's gonna create it and he's gonna make something happen.
Yeah, of course. Barzal is one of the most electrifying players in today's game, and I think especially with that Islanders team, I think he's a key cog, and obviously he spent a few years in the WHL as well. And also, we were talking about the road. What was your favorite away rink to play at in the WHL?
Well, there was a couple. I'll say, like the Seattle one was like we only played there once a year, but like it was pretty nice one. Just the ice itself, the rink itself. Medicine Hat has a pretty good setup. The rink, the facility. I like the Reginas. Not gonna lie. The Reginas, it was great ice. The great facility. Those are my top 3 most favorite ones that I was enjoying playing in.
Of course. What did you think of the Alberta NHL teams that hosted WHL teams, like the Hitmen's rink and the Oil Kings rink?
Well, yeah, I kind of forgot about those two, but like it was pretty sick to go on in an NHL size rink. They were still getting a lot of fans too as well, even though there's an NHL team in the city as well. But like it was a great experience, especially like in Edmonton. You go there, and I'm pretty sure like there's like 16,000 seats or something like that, close to that, and like you skate in that big rink, and just thinking like those the top guys, top dogs play on this ice that you're skating on. It was pretty cool experience for sure.
Of course, and keeping with that Edmonton rink, you also captured a medal at the Holinka Gretzky Cup. What was that experience like playing in that tournament?
Oh, that was great. Still great memories. We're able to get the medal, get the bronze, and what do you call that? What's it's not the championship game, but like
it's the bronze medal game.
Yeah, there you go, the bronze medal game. Just the whole experience, starting from the first game to the last game. It was we had a great team, great guys, and because like this tournament, they say it's pretty much close to World Juniors, because like the U18s wants the World Championship that's going on right now. They usually don't bring the top players, like because they still have a season, usually the playoffs. But like that one in the summer, everyone is fresh, everyone is healthy, and the competitive level is always pretty high. It's definitely fun to play against the best top players in the world, the Swedes, the Finns, the Americans, Canadians. I didn't get to play the Canada, but like still being able to get that experience and win the medal in that tournament, it's something I will always remember.
Of course. And so the interesting note you did mention in the U18 Worlds that's going on now, usually Canadians in the CHL that are still in season can't go. Now, the other interesting thing, in case you didn't know, the Americans don't send their national team development program. So that year, the team that had Cole Caulfield, Jack Hughes, and Trevor Zegras,
Mhm.
they didn't go to it. I personally think if that team went, I think they would have won the gold medal. But they said what USA Hockey does, they they pick a team based on the All-Star game at the national camp, and friend of the program, Arthur Kaliev, was on that US
Yeah.
team. What was your memory of playing against Mike Tyson in that game?
I just remember how we talked after the game, and he like, even though like they lost, like he was a little upset, but like he was still able to give me a smile, and I can't remember what exactly he said, but like it was something funny that Mike said, and just be able to play against Mike, and see the guys drafted already, signed, and already scored his first goal in NHL, and the guy definitely has a talent, and it was fun playing against him, and being able to compete with him on the ice.
Of course, and if I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up about that game, your team captain Vasily Podkolzin, who's a draft pick by the Canucks, that was one of his. I think that tournament was a breakout moment for him,
Oh
and
yeah,
especially
sure.
in that
Yeah.
game, he had a hat trick. Were you surprised to see him just go off in that game and almost put you guys on his back and help you get a bronze?
Well, that's pretty much how same thing he did in against the Swedes the game before, because like the game was so like we weren't able to score the whole game, and how he was able to pick up the puck from his net, and just go on and skate over everybody and score that goal. And I wasn't surprised he was able to get a hat trick in that game. And the guy is his work ethic. It's not even the talent. The guy's work ethic, and just how much he cares about the others. Always puts the team first. I have so much respect for that guy, and I'm just glad that he got able to play with him and share those moments with him.
Absolutely. And former guest of this podcast, Igor Larionov II, also had good fortune of playing with him in the SKA St. Petersburg system. Also, did you play in the U18 Worlds tournament when it was your birth year?
Yeah, I did. I played the first 2 games, but like I got injured, and then I wasn't able to play the rest of the tournament.
That's too bad. What was your experience in those first 2 games and everything leading up to it?
Well, it was great. We had a huge a camp, selective camp in Russia for like for almost like 3 weeks or so, where they would always just through every week they always cut players. It was great to make that team. Still get that opportunity to go on and play at the U18s, and then too bad that I got injured and didn't get to play the rest of the tournament. But like seeing that the team was able to get the second, and it was still a great experience, and something I as I said before, I will always be in my memories, and I will always remember.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially being able to compete on that highest stage. And I would say the higher stage also was the U20 World Juniors. Now, someone that is a mutual friend of both of ours texted me about your story that you unfortunately were not able to play due to a positive COVID test. Take us through that and how devastated you were when you found that out.
So the day before I went to the national camp, I played in Sochi, and then we just finished the game, and the next morning I was gonna fly out to the Russian camp, training camp, and then in order to go to the World Juniors, you have to take 3 tests, and then if either one of them is positive, you're not able to go. So, and then somehow you never know what's they say everything happens not to us but for us. Maybe I wasn't able to get the answers why it would happen at a certain time, that period of time, but like gonna get the answers. It's gonna need some time. I'm gonna get those answers, and maybe in the future. But like I got the positive test on my first one, and I actually got I got sick, and I didn't feel good for a couple of days, but like after a while, I started feeling better, and I think like it took me probably like 4 days, and after that I was all energized and felt way better, and nowadays I'm just feeling fine, and yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But like definitely,
Mhm.
definitely like it was disappointment in the beginning, some sadness, but like, well, as I said before, you know, everything, you got to look at the positives, and everything happens not to us but for us, and so there is something bigger. I'm sure it's gonna happen. You know, that there's a reason for that situation that happened to me. So there's something bigger, and
It is.
I
I
just
would.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Go
definitely
ahead.
agree. It was disappointing that you get that news. Like, I feel like it would
Uh-huh.
be gut wrenching that you see the positive and you're like, why is
Yeah.
this happening to me? But like you said, everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason. And I think the most disappointing thing too was you
Mm-hmm.
would have gotten, if you would like, I feel like you would have made the team, you would have been
Mm-hmm.
reunited with
Mm-hmm.
L United coach Igor Larionov. That would have been
Yeah.
that would have
Yeah.
been very cool to have him coach you once again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. He was a coach for, so we went to the Karjala Cup. It was
Mhm.
in Finland with the U20 team, and it was just it was awesome, man. Like even like after the guys were saying like, hey, this was fun. Like the guys were saying, you know, because many of them weren't even playing like in VHL, which is like under the KHL, because like every mistake that they would make, they would just get benched, and then the guys after the tournament, they were just like saying, hey, like if I wasn't afraid to make a mistake, first of all, but like if I made a mistake, I was gonna get that puck right back. I knew like I knew I had to get that puck because I wanted to. And he's like, there was some of the guys were saying like, if you try to make a play and then in a club, and then you make a mistake, and you already know like no matter what, if you get that, even though you get that puck back, you're still gonna get benched. So like some of the guys were saying, well, so what's the point of me getting that puck back? And then here the guys were saying, hey, I want to get that puck because like I truly wanted myself. I wanted for him to, because I trust him, because you know, just the guys how much they respect him, and just be able to get that experience. And it was awesome, man, as you already know.
Yeah, Igor I think he's a tremendous coach. I think he was the natural choice to be the World Junior coach. And regardless of
Mm-hmm.
the outcome, I'm proud of how he led that team and how he had them play. Especially, I think in that first game
Mm-hmm.
against the U.S., who ended up winning the
Mm-hmm.
gold in the World Juniors. I think he
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly outcoached the U.S. head coach Nate Lehman,
Mm-hmm.
and Nate Lehman's a good
Mm-hmm.
coach. So I think it just shows how smart the professor is. And
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. Also, you played with
Yeah.
Gor Afanasyev in that
Yeah.
Carling
Yeah.
Cup. What was this guy like as someone who a few of my guests are familiar with?
We actually met a long time ago. Was at the U16 tournament in Chicago. He came to play for the Colorado Club, so we kind of spent some time there. And then before that, we spent some time in Sochi here at the, because we had the national team U20 camp, and I spent some time here. Nice guy, you know, always smiling, always positive, always joking around. You know, the guy who is always like energized. They, you know, always got the music going in the locker room, and it was the guy. He's got a talent. He's got everything. Got the drive. Got what's in the hat. Got the IQ and everything, and just a true great guy and good player.
Yeah, he's a very fun guy to be around, very talented. There's a reason he
Mm-hmm.
got drafted as high as he did by Nashville, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a few wins away from winning the Gagarin Cup with
Yeah,
CSKA
yeah,
Moscow.
They're actually playing in like, let's say 15 minutes or so, or actually they have started already. Yeah, so the Avant-Garde is up by 1-3-2, and we'll see what happens this game. But like, might get a cup, a Gagarin cup. That would be so sick, man.
That would be awesome. And speaking of the KHL, you made the
Yeah.
transition over to the KHL. What went into that transition to go with Sochi?
Like how did it happen?
Yeah, how did you end up in Sochi?
Yeah. So as I said, me and Igor were at the U20 camp in Sochi this summer, the past summer, and then we were supposed to have a tournament where it would be a U20 team and then the four KHL teams. But like during the COVID, two of the teams got sick and weren't able to go. But like before the tournament, we were able to play with the Sochi team, the KHL Sochi team, and we played the two exhibition games, and then the tournament started. And then during the tournament, the news popped up with the WHL season being canceled. Well, not canceled, but like delayed until December, and it was like July at that time. So and then I just got the offer from Sochi to stay in Sochi and play and prepare for this WHL season. And yeah, that's pretty much how it started. Played two exhibition games and was able to get an offer from Sochi and signed with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Obviously, Sochi is one of those cities that's warm and seems like it's very enjoyable to be in. Did you end up playing against the Kunlun Red Star against our boy Igor?
No. We only played them later in the year when he already left. So no, it didn't get. But like we still talk, we still chat, and then but like we weren't able to play against each other.
Yeah, that's too bad. So that was actually a question that a listener asked in his interview, was if he had been to Sochi, and he told a little story about that. Now, what was also your favorite rink to play in away from Sochi in the KHL?
Let's see. Well, the ska rink is pretty sick. They have like, I'm sure like 15,000, maybe 14,000 people. It's always full. Just the crowd itself, how the music, how people are screaming, just the whole energy in the building, and you always play against the top team like that. It's always fun and always a great experience, and to learn, to grow, and definitely my most the favorite rink to play in.
And playing against head coach Valery Bragin, who has been in charge of those World Junior teams in Russia, and against goalie, who I'm pretty sure you were teammates with at those international events, Yaroslav Askarov.
Yeah, against him too. Askarov.
Yeah, for sure. So now we're gonna move into a little game that I've played with my other guests. The game is basically marry, F, kill. So in case you're not aware with it, it's which one do you love, which one do you tolerate, like which one do you like, and then the kill part is the one you just get rid of. So knowing you as someone who's plant-based, I went with some plants or some veggies that we could choose from. So for veggies, it's going to be broccoli, asparagus, or cauliflower.
So I have to pick one that I would love the most? Or...
Yeah, so marry is the one you love the most. Like F basically is the one that you like, that you would still want, and then kill is the one you get rid of.
Okay, so go ahead with the...
It's broccoli, asparagus, and cauliflower.
Definitely broccoli is the one I'm gonna marry. Cauliflower. Yeah, I'll go with cauliflower with the one. What's the second one?
It's one like F, like a one night stand almost.
Okay, there you go, F. And then the kill would be the asparagus.
Really? Why kill the asparagus?
Well, not a huge fan of asparagus. Well, I guess I'll eat it, but like it's not like I'm a huge fan of it. Yeah, there you go.
That's fair. I would say for me, it would be marry broccoli, F asparagus. The way I cook asparagus, at least, I put a little olive oil in the pan and sear it in the pan, and I think it tastes very good that way. And then I would have to say cauliflower. I don't really eat a lot of cauliflower. I eat more broccoli and asparagus.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
round two is going to be breakfast, since I know you obviously post about your breakfast. First is going to be oatmeal. You're like a morning smoothie. I know you're big into morning smoothies. And porridge. I know you've eaten some porridge too.
Okay, so I'll go with the smoothie for sure. The one I'm gonna marry. Gotta go with the smoothie in the morning. The best thing. Like, I'm enjoying every morning this smoothie. The F would be the porridge, and then the oatmeal would be the kale, because like the porridge is just way better. Just filled with different stuff, and you cook it for like 40 minutes, and it's nice and thick, and just gotta go with the smoothie and the porridge.
Very, very valid points. I would go smoothie in the morning, like I described, my protein shake for Mary. F, I would say oatmeal, and mainly because I haven't had porridge, so that's why I have to discard it. But oatmeal,
Gotcha.
There's this brand in the US called Red Mill. They make gluten-free oatmeal, and it's actually very good. It's very enjoyable. So those that haven't tried it, I recommend you try it. It's very good. So that was the game section of the episode. Now we're going to move into a few fan submitted questions. Like always, thank you for submitting the questions. And obviously follow the podcast Instagram, which is PK's Place Podcast. Now, the first question from Igor Larionov _LL is biggest difference between the WHL and the KHL?
The talent level, for sure. And the talent level would be the huge one, and just being at the right place at the right times. I think you always got to be in the position, and it's not like about the speed as much, but like it's about how fast you can make a decision, how quick you can decide what to do with the puck, or once you're a little off the position, the players are going to take advantage of that, and it just takes a little 1 second, even half a second, and you'll be late to that puck. It's either in the corner or you lose that battle. So it's always important to, first of all, make a quick decision, and always be in the right position. So those are the huge 2 points I had to readjust when I came to the KHL from the WHL.
Of course. Now, before we get to the next question, a follow-up question I had was who are some of the better players you played against in the KHL?
I think Slapyshev was good. Slapyshev, Leipzig.
Yeah, Leipzig.
Leipzig. There you go. Those two. Well, what's his name? On bar is
Mosiakin.
Oh yeah, well Mazakin, I played against him. The guy is a legend. Played since he was 18 and been able to put up, not that many points, that many goals, and what's the other one? Those on Akbars. Oh, every team has a top, those top guys, and where you always grew up watching them on the TV and actually be able to go out and just challenge them either in the corner or different areas on the ice, and it's always fun, and it's always like gives you so much energy and drive. Hey, if I can win that battle, you would just feel so good, and it just gives you that much in joy.
Yes,
as I should say.
Now, with Leipzig, you said you played against him. Did you read or hear of any of the news that came out about him?
Yeah. It was during the quarantine. I saw what happened to him, and I see him go international and play here in KHL. It wasn't a surprise for me.
Yeah. Even in
definitely so was it.
Yeah, even in my group chat with Igor Larionov and Afanasyev, Igor said that that was the first thing he called, was that, oh, this guy's going to go to the KHL after his contract was terminated. So he was not surprised. And speaking of Igor, the next question is, thoughts on fellow teammate Dan Guzlik Miramanov?
Good look. Well, what can I say? The guy signed the NHL team with a two-way contract with the the Vegas
Vegas.
Golden Knights. Yeah, there you go, Vegas. Put up that many points, even though the team wasn't doing very good, but still be able to put up that many points and play the style of the game that he was playing at that high level. It says a lot. The guy's got a skill. The guy, he has the mindset and everything. Like, great guy, and just a great teammate. What can I say? Just wish him the best, and I hope the route goes well for him and just goes as far as he can.
That would be awesome for him to have a lot of success. We'll see if he starts out in Henderson with the AHL Silver Knights, or if he actually could start with the Golden Knights, since at the moment they are pretty loaded. And I think with them, I think it's inevitable that they're going to play Colorado in the second round of this playoff. And man, if that actually does happen, I'm very excited to watch that series. That I feel like is going to go 7, no doubt.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially for me, I was growing in Colorado, because when I came in, they were like, oh, the first 2 seasons, my 14th and 15th year, they were like always in the bottom, and then just with each year they just kind of build up by little, and then now you see the team is I think they're in the first, right? The first in the standings, or close to that.
Yeah, I think they're second right now, I believe. Yeah, so right now Vegas is first at 70 points. Colorado it has 66. So they are second place.
Yeah, but still, like, see the team grow like in the short period of time that much, and the way they're playing is incredible. And that's definitely going to be a fun series to watch, Vegas and Colorado play each other.
Absolutely. I'm very stoked for that. Another question is, what's your best or favorite LA United memory?
Definitely the championship game, when went to the shootout, and nobody was able to score, and so we almost restarted. Like, literally everyone has went, and then see Gagic scoring the shootout winner. So the story behind it was, so because him and his brother traveled from Russia, and somehow his bag with the gear and everything and sticks was just lost somewhere in Amsterdam, and so he wasn't able to play the first 2 games. And then when you play in North America, the tournaments go like in 3 days, and so he missed the first day, and I'm sure like he missed the first game too. And then he was just like, okay, I'm not getting my bag. And so he just went and got a pair of skates. The coach brought him some gear from his house, and he just pretty much, like, with new gear and everything, just went on and played the rest of the tournament. And I remember, so he was wearing a helmet. It was a bubble, it was pretty much a bubble. And like, he wasn't able to see the ice, after a while it gets what do you call
foggy.
it? What's the word?
It gets fogged up.
It gets foggy. And so he was like one of the last guys who was gonna go and take the shot. And so I remember, so Igor says, okay, Gagic, you're going. And so he comes up to his brother, literally takes off his helmet and puts up, because his brother was wearing a cage. So he puts up a cage helmet and goes on and scores a shootout, and everyone just goes crazy. And that was definitely my most favorite the memory from that tournament.
Yeah, that shootout was nuts. I know I went. I know I missed. I was bummed that I didn't score. But for me, also the funniest part was Pasha Phelan goes. And he almost scored. If he would have scored, oh my God, no joke. To the listeners out there, I would have went nuts. That would have been such a classic moment. I would have been like, this is insane. But yeah, that game was such a nail biter, especially compared to the year before when I played. We just steamrolled everybody. So I think it was definitely exciting that the game was close and came down to the wire.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely fun. Especially, I think it was like 2-2 or 3-3. The whole game was like going up and down. It was pretty close, and being able to get a win in that long shootout, it was definitely fun.
Yes, it was nice to go back to back for me and some of the guys from the year before as
hmm
well. So the next question is from Alex Bedenko, member of my group. What was the
hmm
best advice a coach gave you?
hmm hmm Uh, the best advice: do everything as you would. Let me do everything as you would it when no one is watching. Like, let's say, do the right things even though no one is watching. So that was pretty much it. No matter who's watching, always do the right thing. It can be, replace to anything in life, especially like in general. Always do the right thing, and good things will happen. Don't try to, steal something or be a bad person. Always be a good person. Always give your best, and whatever happens, whatever happens. You just gave your best. You gave everything what you had. You have nothing to worry about it. So that's pretty much the best advice or advices that the coach has given me.
That is
That it
very good
replies to,
advice. That is very
replies
good
to,
advice.
replies not only to life but hockey as well.
Of course, and an English word that is used to
Mm,
describe that very phrase,
yeah.
character.
Oh,
Character.
there you go.
Having good
hmm
character is doing the right thing when there's no one in the room, because there's a lot of times where someone we
hmm
would call two-faced, they act really
hmm
nice to you to your face and they do everything right.
hmm
When there's no one
hmm
watching, they're a piece of shit and they do the
hmm
wrong thing. So I think that's actually very good advice to give the listeners and
Yeah.
the viewers out there.
There you go. Yeah. There you
Next
go.
question is
hmm
actually from L United Hockey. Speaking of them,
hmm
how do you think the COVID-19 pandemic will change youth hockey going forward?
Uh, Youth hockey going forward. That's a great question. I think with the COVID and the pandemic itself, it gave those little players, uh, little kids a time to miss a game so much, I'm sure, and it also at the same time gave that little drive to actually see who's uh, who's really into the game and who's not. So like, let's say people were stuck at home, and you see some guys who are probably not doing much, but like the little kids that actually truly wanted to do something, they were able to, to their stick handler or do something with a stick, or it can be anything. And I think um, what the whole pandemic did, it kind of made the circle maybe a little tighter for actually the ones that actually care and actually enjoy what they're doing. And I think actually, plus the whole pandemic, even though they were stuck at home, I'm sure they were able to look at the game from a different perspective. It can be watching the game. It's a whole different approach to hockey IQ. You see different players do different things in the game, and same thing can be. It was probably working different skills. How much the time they spent working to on their hands, or just the strength and conditioning part. I think even though there's maybe a little setback because kids didn't develop for some period of time, but like I think in the longer run, um, it helped and it opened some doors for those kids to learn and develop and appreciate the game even more.
I think that's a very good answer. And I
hmm
think
hmm
what also it
hmm
did, it forced people to go outside of the box and do things in a different way. And I think
hmm
as people get more vaccinated, at least here in America and hopefully around the world,
hmm
that
hmm
it allows more states to be open and more youth hockey opportunities, because I think it was unfortunate at first that kids were stuck at home having to do school online. and not being able
Mhm.
to get that social interaction that's key for younger kids growing up, but also not being
Mhm.
able to, some of them not being able to play hockey. I think it was tremendously unfortunate. And I think something I stand by was let the kids play. Sports not just are sports not just are a way to obviously try to make money playing pro, which obviously is
Mhm.
very hard to
Mhm.
do, but sports
Mhm.
especially not only teaches obviously teamwork, dedication, drive. There's a
Character.
lot
Yeah.
character. Yes, there's a lot of great skills you can learn from playing
Mhm.
sports, and I think denying kids the opportunity to play sports, especially amidst what was going on, I think is very unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely have to add to that. Like the sports itself, it's great for your body. It's great for your development, not only as a athlete, but like as a person as well. As you said, it teaches you uh first of all how to set for yourself different goals, how to achieve those goals, how to uh you know be look at different setbacks, look at different failures and learn from them. And all of those little things that we learn from sports, they all apply to real life, and which will help you in the longer run to live a better sustainable life.
Yes, and I think one last point before moving on to the next
Hmm.
question
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
teaches you how, regardless of what sport, hockey, football, basketball, it teaches you how to
Hmm.
work with other people, which
There you go, communication part.
yes, because when you're done with the game, it's inevitable that you're gonna have to find something else to do and you have to work
Hmm.
with other people. And oftentimes in the adult world, you work with people that you don't really like or that you're not really friends
Hmm.
with, but you
Hmm.
have to be professional and adult about it. So I think that's another key part of sports.
Yeah, for sure. Communication part, learning how to communicate to others and be able to find the right words to every person, and that's a huge skill that you learn through the sports.
Absolutely. And two last questions. I got one. I got the
There you
final
go.
one, but this question is, what's your favorite restaurant in Sochi?
George Bar. So that's pretty much like it's got the organic, it's got the everything like natural, lots of plant-based meals, and like it's always my go-to every day. Like if I have a time, a day off, or I can bring a teammate with me, it's always going there, getting some lunch or some brunch, breakfast and lunch, and just love the vibe they have there, and just the message they're trying to spread out about eating plants and natural foods. So that's my go-to place to go. Yosh Bar, number one in Sochi for me.
That's awesome. Everyone, if you're able
Uh,
to get out to Sochi at one point, check it out.
yeah.
So obviously I appreciate you coming on and sharing your different stories and just catching up, chatting. My question to you is, who would you like to see me interview on this podcast?
Next,
Yeah,
or
it could
just
be
in general.
next. It could be next, or even in general. Like,
Uh-huh.
at some point, who would you like to see me interview?
Do I need a certain name, or I can just describe different characteristic or of
You
a
could
person?
probably say, I would say names. You could say anyone that comes to
Okay, yeah,
mind.
yeah. I would like you to chat with Lawrence. I think
Lawrence
he would be
Miller.
one of the. Yeah, there you go. I think he should be the next one because he has went through a lot. He's seen a lot in this life, and I think that would be very interesting for others to hear what he has to say about different how he looks at the life, different perspectives, what he learned, different lessons, and I think what he's trying to do now is a huge thing. And I think by bringing him to the show, I think it's gonna first of all, it would be very interesting for others, and it would be very beneficial for others to learn as well.
Yeah, of course. Lawrence is a very good guy, and he's gone through a lot that I think would be powerful for other people to hear. And funny
Hmm.
Lawrence story, he like when I would be in Michigan I went
Hmm.
2 weeks this past summer,
Yeah.
then a week for Igor's
Right.
22nd birthday party, and he would play
Right.
soccer with us. And this guy's soccer style, man, it was something to behold. I wish that you were able to be there with us. He has a very
Okay.
unique he has a very unique soccer style, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's a very funny guy, and also would sometimes try to be the ref and player, and you know how well
Mhm.
that works sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
So,
well, what I got, the guy always competes hard. That
oh, he
you always
does.
see that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
100% he does. Now, I wanted to give you this chance to plug your social medias. Tell people where you can be found on social media.
definitely check out my Instagram page. I try to post as much as I can, uh, different life, different, just my daily life, different uh, superfoods, different smoothies, different recipes that I'm trying to put on my page for others to see. And then what I'm trying to bring now is I'm trying to post things in two different languages, or try to at least doing to both languages, because I still, even though I in Russia now, and most of the people are Russian, I still want to, since I lived in the States or in North America for 5 years, I still want to actually have people understand what's going on and what I'm putting in my smoothies, or just simple things what I'm trying to spread the message about. So you can check my Instagram page. It's Nikita.Sedov, and you can find me there and follow up. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, all set.
I would, yeah, if everyone out there, I would definitely
Mm.
recommend checking Nikita's page out. As I said at the beginning, he's done a very good job. He's been done a very good job of putting the nutrition out there and spreading that awareness. So I can't commend you enough for doing that. Like I said, obviously I mentioned the podcast Instagram. My personal Instagram is p.hughes15. Nikita, thanks for coming on. It was a blast catching up and talking.
Thanks, Peyton. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope, as I said in the beginning, the podcast goes very far for you, and it can be helpful for for others, entertaining, and yeah, because like it's not easy. It takes the effort. It takes time. It takes lots of work, and I hope you'll be able to enjoy the whole process, and keep people entertained, and at the same time people may learn and be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, of course. Those are all goals of the podcast for
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
And hopefully in a little bit, hopefully sooner rather than later, I can get you on again and we can catch up
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
That would be very fun. So that's all for this episode, everybody. Have a good week. Stay
Mhm.
safe. Be healthy. Peace.
Be